Welcome, everybody, to Talk of the Bay. I'm your host, Meilin Obinata. I am honored to have Omar Dieguez, who is just experienced a month-long hunger strike. I'm delighted to lay eyes on you, Omar. Thank you for being here.
Yes.
Yeah, and thank you for being on this show. I have a million questions. So I guess the first thing I'll start off with is, what was this experience like? It just seems like such a huge experience. So what are some things you want to share with us about this?
Yeah. First of all, I just want to take a moment to also thank the creator for allowing me to be here today to share this experience. I also want to recognize today's Indigenous Day, and it's important that we honor our Indigenous people that fought so hard for us to be able to continue this kind of work and to live in a good way. So I just want to give thanks to the creator for allowing me to be here. But this experience of this hunger strike, wow, it was very humbling. It was very spiritual. It was very, not only were we educating the community, but I was also learning from the stories from the community on the experiences that they had to go through with the harms of pesticides. And I learned a lot of different things about pesticides that I didn't know before. And I've got to meet a lot of experts over the month-long hunger strike. You know, I had my moments where it was tough. It was tough to experience what I was experiencing. I was also very emotional, very touched by the students, by the community. Throughout my hunger strike, I went to a lot of schools to give presentations, and I went to Berkeley, Cabrillo College, high schools in Salinas, high schools in Santa Cruz. And unfortunately, I wasn't able to go to schools in my district, Pajaro Valley Unified School District, because they found that talking about pesticides was controversial. And Monterey County and Pajaro Valley are the most affected by pesticides because they spray so much of it in our communities, and not being able to share this educational presentations with these students was very heartbreaking, and it was very concerning that the district has so much resistance to talk about how we could educate our youth and our community, and how we could inspire them to make change, because at the end of the day, the youth are the people that are the future leaders.
Absolutely.
And so, you know, it's very troubling. But I mean, at the same time, we have Driscoll's, who is in Watsonville, who their headquarters is there, and who donates a lot of money to a lot of these schools, organizations, and just throughout the county. They're donating money everywhere to silence the people, you know. And it's just what it made me realize is that we have a lot of work ahead of us to make these changes, and we have to continue. La lucha sigue. We have to continue to bring awareness, and hopefully the community will come together to save lives at the end of the day, to save lives and to give dignity to the farm workers who work so hard in the fields to provide food on everybody's table, not only in our county, but throughout the world.
Yeah, there are concepts of, say, environmentalism, right? And I'm not, like, I don't know that labels are always helpful, but I mean, just as a matter of like how chemistry works or how these chemicals work, if it's powerful enough to like kill an ant or a beetle or whatever, those chemicals do devastating things to life forms like mammals, like we are, right? So
the best way that I could explain the pesticides, what the pesticides are doing is, what they do is when they spray these pesticides, they're supposed to kill these insects and pests. And those chemicals do is they scramble those insects' brains. so that they could not
confuse them.
confuse them and to so they could die and whatever else. So there's been studies that they've made on some of these dangerous pesticides that are being used, that not only are they killing these insects and scrambling their brains and affecting their brains, but they're also, that same effect is happening to our students, to our community, to our farm workers. Organophosphates is one of the pesticides that they use, which is causing learning disabilities, ADHD, is causing cancer, respiratory. A study just came out on organophosphates, how dangerous they are to humans. And, the data's out there. It's been out there. And as the years go, we're finding more and more data because we're beginning to see the long-term effects of what pesticides are doing to our young people. There's been many studies done by different organizations, different colleges, universities. The data's out there, and we're seeing this in our farm workers because they're out there picking these crops. And one of the examples that I use with these students is when I go in there, I talk about, like, if you've ever seen a farm worker, how well dressed they are from head to toe with bandanas to protect themselves from the pesticides, from picking these crops. And some of them wear gloves. I met farm workers that were taking extra set of clothes out to the fields, and at the end of the day, they were taking a gallon of water and kind of like rinsing themselves off and taking these clothes off and disposing of them and putting on that extra set that they're carrying in their car so that they could come home to their families and not
contaminate them
and transfer them. And a lot of them told me too, like they would have an outdoor shower or somewhere where they could undress and leave those clothes out there and dispose of them and shower because they were afraid of bringing it home to their families. And I used to tell the kids, when they're out there working all day and they come home, who's the first person that runs up to you to give you a hug when you're is your kids. So, it's a real problem. It's not a new problem. We've known about this for many years since the war. Some of those pesticides, they use chemicals that were used in the war, in the gas chambers.
In
organophosphates is one of them. There's a list of them, but organophosphates is the most dangerous one, one of the many dangerous ones. And that's alarming to think that they were using these same chemicals in the war to kill people, but yet we're using them in our fields to kill these insects that are also known to cause harm to humans.
It's kind of weird to think about eating food that also has poison in it, and then also that poison is part of the kind of the workplace environment for anyone handling this produce and anyone in the vicinity, right? And so it sort of begs the question, well, we want food, right? It could be strawberries, raspberries, whatever, and some of them, right, like, hey, insects want them too. Is this really the way we should be handling this problem?
It's not the way.
Well, I mean, yes, of course not, yeah.
It's being handled that way, but Dolores Huerta came down to Watsonville back in May, and she gave a presentation, and she talked about how everywhere else in the world, other countries don't use these harmful pesticides, but yet in the United States, we're using these harmful pesticides. And in our district, Pajaro Valley Unified School District, there are over 13 schools that are either directly across the street from a field where they're spraying pesticides. If not directly, a fence is dividing the playground from the field, a chain link fence. And, when they spray these pesticides, it travels up to a 7-mile radius. Watsonville's about 10-mile radius.
I was just gonna say, yeah, that's a huge radius.
And when they spray these pesticides, it stays in the air for up to 3 days. Not only that, but we live near the coast, so these pesticides are traveling. They're landing in our water. They're contaminating our drinking water, our air that we breathe. It's contaminating our land, and if it's traveling and it's near a school, it's landing on the drinking fountains where the kids are drinking. It's landing on their clothes, their classrooms. They can't be in a classroom stuffed up, without a window open. So it's alarming. It's alarming, and it's something that we need to address. It's been going on for too long. We need to show more respect and more dignity for our farm workers who are out there working hard. We don't, a lot of people say they're taking the jobs, this and that, but I would love to see anybody to step up to
Wait.
do the jobs.
Yeah, I was gonna say, wait, who is taking what job?
It's not only, this is not only a environmental pesticides battle that we're fighting. We're also fighting for the dignity of farm workers who right now are living in fear of working because of deportations and all that. We have to really revisit this problem and really make some big changes to protect our farm workers who are out there in harsh weather. When I go to the prisons in Chowchilla or down in Soledad, Fresno area and stuff like that, I mean, if you think about it, like that weather over there is like 100 and something degrees. We have good weather here, and me being out in those yards with some of these relatives doing presentations, stuff like that, I'm dying. I'm dying just standing there giving a presentation. I cannot imagine what it's like to be a farm worker, fully dressed to protect themselves from these pesticides. And they suffer not only from heat stroke, being exposed to pesticides. Sometimes they have to deal with snakes and other wildlife that's out there. They go through a lot to provide food for the United States and around the world. And we really need to find a better way to protect our farm workers and the food that we're eating. There's this experience has I was able to meet a lot of people that have organic farms and that are in this fight against pesticides. I got to hear a lot of stories from people that, one common thing that I never failed from being out in the community that I would hear is like, thank you for what you're doing, bringing awareness. And they would say, my mom died to pesticides. My dad died to pesticides. My uncle died to pesticides. My kids have to go to Stanford to get treatment. It's heartbreaking. I cannot tell you how many times I heard that. And we need to make change. And for our school district to not see the importance of this subject, to be able to teach this to our students, it's very important that we come into the schools and talk about this, because guess what? They're the future. They're the next leaders. They're the next ag commissioner, the next judge, the next teacher, mentor, whatever they dream of being. And we need to be able to educate them so that their kids can have a better future, a better life, and so that we can save our Mother Earth. And this is not only a people problem, it's an environmental problem, but it's also, I always talk to the kids about the monarch butterflies,
Right.
who are also immigrants, who migrate from
They
Mexico.
literally, yes, the butterflies literally migrate.
And there's been studies that they found high levels of pesticides in the population, and the population has decreased because of the pesticides. There's studies that our oceans, our marine life is suffering from pesticides. They find it in their scales, in their skin. And so it's a big problem, and we need to make changes soon.
Thank you, Omar. I'm Meilin Obinata. You're listening to Talk of the Bay on KSQD Santa Cruz, KSQD Prunedale. We're on your dial at 89.5, 89.7, 90.7, and on your smart device at ksqd.org. My guest today is Omar Dieguez, who recently concluded a month-long hunger strike to protest the use of pesticides in our local agriculture. So, Omar, you've touched on sort of what you've learned about chemistry, the chemical makeup, and the use of pesticides, and you've met a lot of people. And I'm also curious to know what was your personal experience just going on this journey. I know that you had to prepare before this strike. So there's the preparation, and then there's the experience, and now you're sort of in the looking back at it. What has it been like just for you as a human being, doing something like this? Because you've been very, very active for a very long time in the community. This, I would say, is, I think this is the first time you've done something like this.
Yes.
So,
It's
yeah, what was it like for you?
it's very. I'm very touched. You know, I didn't do this to get attention. I didn't do this to have people like me or anything like that.
Okay, yeah,
You know?
I don't think so. Yeah, I
did
think you're.
this. The
Yeah,
goal. The goal from the
yeah.
beginning was to bring awareness to the community, and I was just. I didn't think it was gonna be. I mean, I didn't know how big this concern is with the community, and being able to go through this journey, and to have so many people reach out. Not only from my community, but I've had people reach out from across the United States with other organizations and people that are doing environmental justice work, people that are going against pesticides, that are growing organic farms, and just the amount of support that I received was very touching. I was humbled to be able to be part of this journey. And the one thing that stood out to me was when I was going to the schools and giving these presentations, there was always a student or two that would come after the presentation, and in private they would share a tear with me, and they would talk about how they were affected by pesticides, or how a loved one died from pesticides, and just being able to share that moment with them was very special for me. You know, and throughout my hunger strike, it was in the beginning I was hungry.
Oh, yes.
You know, and
Yes, yeah.
but as I progressed in my hunger strike, the hunger went away.
Oh, really?
And I was beginning to reflect on a lot about my life, on just relationships, on the work that I was doing. I got to spend a lot of time by myself, just reflecting, and I learned a lot about myself. I was able to realize things that I wasn't able to realize before.
Oh, wow.
And towards the end, there was times where I would go to, a lot. This was a different hunger strike. Most people that do hunger strikes stay put in one place. And
That's what. Yeah. That's what
but
I
that
thought.
my intention from the beginning was to do presentations and promote this and bring awareness. And as the month went on, I was in I was doing 2-3 presentations a day, and I had to slow down because I was getting weak. There was a time I was at Cabrillo doing a presentation, and my knees gave out in the middle of a presentation.
Oh my gosh.
Because I was weak.
Yeah.
And so I had to slow down towards the end a lot. I had to rest a lot. But it was very important to me, for the students in the community, to see what the hunger strike was about. To see to the extent that I was willing to go to educate people. And I think it touched a lot of people, and the goal was met, to bring awareness and to educate. It was, I could say that what the goal and the intention of the hunger strike was, to touch people and to educate and all that. I think we met that goal, and now there's a lot of people that we need. Now I have to, now that I'm done with it, now I have to connect the dots, bring all these people together to make that change. And I have to say there was other people that did the hunger strike.
I was
too.
gonna say, yeah, other people are also joining
Providencia
you.
did the hunger strike. Day 17, she ended up in the hospital from malnourishment. We asked her to stop. We don't want nobody to die.
Of
You
course.
know,
Yeah.
I think I was on my third week. I ended up getting an infection from malnourishment also in my intestine.
Oh.
And that was very painful. I thought it was a kidney at first. I didn't know what was going on, and I waited too long to
Mm.
go to the doctor.
Oh no.
You know how men are. It'll go
Oh.
away.
No.
Give
Oh.
me a little bit of water, it'll go away. But
Oh.
I'm glad I went. My intestine had this infection and it swelled up, so it was very painful. I couldn't even wear my pants.
That sounds very dangerous.
And yeah, but when I went to the hospital, I told the doctor, "Hey, I'm not gonna eat. I'm gonna fulfill these 30 days. Whatever you got to do, so I could finish what I said I was gonna do. That's what I need you to do." So they gave me some NIV. They gave
Mm-hmm.
me some antibiotics, and they checked my vitals. They said I was healthy. They said, "Okay, you're good to go." So
Okay.
I was able to fulfill my 30 days, and those last days were very a lot of thinking, a lot of uh, reflecting, and it was hard at the end.
Do you want to take a moment?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I was watching or I was reading articles about Omar Dieguez and seeing the coverage, and I'll just say from my personal, I guess, reaction was that I wondered about people who didn't know anything about pesticides, and I wondered how they were reacting or learning from your hunger strike, something that maybe they would previously just sort of set aside or not understand, right? Because there's a big difference between like, yeah, you know things are out there, you know that there's a lot of agriculture, you know that farms use pesticides or different chemicals. There's a big difference between just kind of knowing that on an intellectual level versus observing someone who is saying, "Hey, this is not okay." Just setting a boundary about and just saying what is or isn't the right thing to do. So, I'm just curious to know from your perspective, what would happen, like, at what point when you're talking to people and explaining stuff to them, would you see them sort of go from, I don't understand what you're talking about, to, oh, is that what's going on? Was there sort of like a
No, there was
revelation?
every single presentation I did. We provided all the stats.
Mm-hmm.
We had maps to give
Mm-hmm.
visual. Some
Yeah.
people learn with visuals.
Right.
We had experts show up,
Mm-hmm.
and I can say right now that when I would start my presentations, they
Mm-hmm.
weren't too sure what to think. But by the end of the presentations, everybody was touched and alarmed
Mm-hmm.
at the information that they learned, and and I cannot say anybody that throughout my journey did anybody come up to me and say, "Hey, you're not right," or "That's not true," or nothing like
Yeah,
that.
they can't argue with
I
facts.
didn't
Yeah.
experience any of that.
Yeah.
And what I did experience is a lot of people saying thank you. How
Mm-hmm.
can we get him? How can we support?
Mm-hmm.
How can we make change? That's what I did hear a lot.
Mm-hmm.
What can we do? And I would tell the students, look, your voice is super important. Show up to your city council, show up to school board meetings. Uh, earn your civic engagement seal for your diploma with your teacher. Find out how you guys
Mm-hmm.
could get involved. Write a 2-minute speech.
Mm-hmm.
And if that is something that it seems too hard for you, start off by being kind. Be kind to yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Be kind to others. Start off there, because with everything that's going on in the world, we all need to heal. So start off there, and then everything will come fall into place after that. You know, but don't ever let anybody say no. You can't make change. One thing that I used to tell them was, I was always told, you can't do this, or that's not possible. And I used to always, my response was, tell me I can't, and I'll show you I can. So I feed off of the negative stuff.
Well, thank you. Thank you for sharing that. I was saying at the top of the hour, I have millions of questions, but I'm also sort of just absorbing everything you've said so far. And I'll just say on a personal level, just seeing and kind of knowing about these environmental problems with pesticides
Yeah.
for like my whole life, right? And thinking, how come nobody says anything? Not nobody, but I just, I didn't know. Are people resisting this in some way? And just as a human being observing what you were doing, I thought I am also thankful that you're standing up, because I remember hearing things like, I was talking to someone from like an organic producer of berries, and they were telling me, oh yeah, we were trying to sell the berries as organic, and this is local, by the way. And people were like, oh, organic is not as good. Like there was this perception. So they had to sell the berries with no indication that they were organic. And then people were like, oh, they're really good. We're eating them. They're delicious. But there was this mindset that it's better if you use these like powerful chemicals. And so I don't know where did these myths come from? Right. But those are the myths that lead to, cancer and so on. Yeah.
So there's many studies. We have the highest childhood cancer rate in Monterey County and Pajaro Valley and Watsonville of childhood cancer. We know this. This is a fact. We have the highest rate of learning disabilities, ADHD, respiratory. All these are all facts. The reason these companies use pesticides is to stop these insects from killing the crops and whatever else they do. But they also use them to preserve these fruits so that they can shoot them across the United States and they last longer, to get bigger fruits, to get better color and stuff like that. But it's for a profit of the company to be able to ship these across the world. But at what cost? At the cost of the indigenous people, at the cost of the farm worker, our students, our community, our land, our water, our air. They're choosing profits over the world, over the people. And it's just, it needs to stop. We've been going, this has been going too long, and people are dying from it. People are suffering for it, and there needs to be change soon.
Well, thank you, Omar. Thank you for being on Talk of the Bay right here on KSQD. I look forward to you hosting on KSQD, and
if I may, can I just
of course, yes,
I just want to, if people want to learn about pesticides, go to the Center Farm Workers website, Center Farm Worker Families, Center for Farm Worker Families. Go to Cora. Go to the app Spray Days. Spray Days is a very good way to educate yourself on pesticides. It will give you notifications if you punch in an address. It will give you notifications when they're spraying pesticides. It'll tell you what pesticides they're spraying. It'll give you a 1 mile radius. This is called Spray Days. You will be alarmed how many notifications you get. I've gotten, for one address, over 50 notifications in 1 month.
That's Cora is the Center for Organic Regenerative Agriculture, and Omar was mentioning the Center for Farm Worker Families.
Also, SAS, Safe Ag, Safe Schools is another place you could get all this information. There's also a group of young people called Future Leaders of Change. these are incredible young people doing incredible work against pesticides. So there's a lot of information out there. Please support by visiting these websites and just educating yourself. And I don't even have to tell you, once you read all this information, you will be moved to want to make a change and to save this earth.
Thank you, Omar. Absolutely. So I'll be sure I'll put all that information
Yeah.
in the show notes. Anything else before we can?
I just want to thank everybody that showed up throughout my journey and supported me. I'm very, very honored, very humbled to be the voice for a lot of people that were afraid to speak. And people have asked me if I would do it again. Yes, I would do it again. Maybe not right now, but yes, I would do it again. And thank you for the community. And I have to say, I have to give honor to the women, because throughout my journey, I had nothing but women show up and support me. So if you're a woman out there, thank you. Women bring warmth, bring love into our world, and they bring duality. So to all the women out there, you are leaders also, and you can make big changes. So thank you to everybody that shows support throughout the hunger streak.
Thank you so much. You are hearing Talk of the Bay on KSQD. I'm your host, Meilin Obinata. I had the great pleasure of interviewing Omar Dieguez about his hunger strike.
This is Howard Feldstein. I'm the program director here at KSQD, and my heart is full just to see Omar having survived that and done all the work. You did it on behalf of many people, including one person who called during the show to express his gratitude. He's a 75-year-old man who said he couldn't do it himself, so he's grateful to see younger people stepping up and doing it. And he said that it affected his family too, that I can't remember which relative, a father or uncle, lived near artichoke and radish fields and died of cancer. And so he was very grateful and appreciative. And I'm grateful to Meilin and Omar for producing this show. This is live here in the KSQD studios. And I'm also thankful to the more than 270 people who have shown their support for this community station, non-commercial, to allow us to bring you programs like this. So thank you again.